Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I wanted to talk a little bit about community. So, let's talk about the good times first. So, Path of Exile, in my opinion, is at its absolute best when it's a league start. Everyone's excited, you're talking to your friends, what build are you starting, everyone's getting hyped. The league trailer drops, everyone's checking out the new content, they're speculating, we're getting some Bex teasers here and there, new uniques, crazy stuff, anything is possible, and it just feels like this magical period. Where everyone can't wait to play. We all queue up. We can't wait. We all start out on Twilight Strand and we get in and we play the league. And, we're on Discord with our friends. We're logging on. Our friends list is jam-packed. And, we just can't wait to play more. We have so many goals, so many fun things to do, and everything feels fresh again. That is when PoE is at its best. And when everyone really wants to play, and when everyone is super duper excited. When the sky feels like the limit and anything is possible. League starts, for the longest time, always felt like that. And it's only recently that we've seen things kind of deteriorate, and we've got a lot of pessimism, negativity, and unfortunately, a lot of hate in the community right now. But I don't think that comes from a place of wanting to burn grinding gear games down. I don't think it's like that. I think it's just people are incredibly frustrated that we lost that beautiful time, that majestic league start, that time we could spend with our friends, that time that we wanted to take time off from work for, and we felt like it was worth it. Everyone wants to get back to that. It's just a question of how. And that's what this video is going to be all about. I want to tell you guys my experiences over the last few weeks and why I'm incredibly optimistic about getting back to there, and how I think as a community we can come together to do so. So first of all, I have an announcement to make. And my announcement is that in roughly 2 weeks, a little bit less than that, I will be interviewing Chris Wilson alongside Gazzy TV, Dat Mods, and Crouching Tuna. And the objective of this interview, at least from my point of view, is that we get all of the concerns of the community which wasn't addressed by the Bayclass Chris Wilson interview. We get all of them and we comprise them into a list of questions in such a way that the GGG team can take that away to their team. They can get those questions, they can come up to solutions with them, and they can present them to us on that interview. That is my goal, and I want to talk to as many creators and as many individuals about how they feel about the game to make sure that that list of questions best reflects the actual issues which everyone is having with the game right now. I've already started this. I've talked to Big Ducks, So Mad, MB Extreme, and Don the Crown, and they had incredibly interesting takes, some of which I would be happy to share with you guys. We've got Don is a melee player at heart. He talks about, how melee's in a super bad place right now, and he's not super psyched to play it, and he feels like he has to play pseudo-ranged melee skills to really get the best out of it. I've spoken a little bit to Tai Killer, and he's, not too happy with the story. He feels like he's lost his speed running edge. There's tons of stuff about that. We've got MB Extreme, who's like a build creator, and he really wants to get back to the days in which tons of builds were able to do the end game content. Right now, while we've got a higher level of difficulty, there's fewer than ever builds able to do stuff like Cirrus 8, and he was saying that was a big issue for him, and he wants to get back to the good old times of having, infinite options and infinite possibilities for builds, and ones that could do endgame and have fun with it. I talked to So Mad, who was talking about endgame, the endgame loop, aspirational content, chase items, crafting, all sorts of stuff like that. And Big Ducks, who's got a really good perspective about, the accessibility of the game, and, being able to get through it at a good pace, ailments, and, kind of that difficulty curve as well. Which was really good to hear. Basically, my point here is I want to hear from as many people as possible, including you, behind the camera here, about what you like about the game, like your favorite time in the game, and what you don't like about the game. And if possible, if you're a viewer, please send me what you think in Discord so I can then try and reformat that and get that in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, the formatting is important. You know, if I get a billion people sending me a billion questions, I'm going to basically never be able to sleep. So if you possibly could, please put it in dot point form. Make sure it's a question and not a solution. And then we might be able to get that into a question and combine all this stuff together to make sure that we address all of the different playstyles, communities, and overall the Path of Exile goodness in this interview. And we make sure that we finish it off with a bang here. And we are all feeling incredibly optimistic, psyched, and excited for the future of the game. So we can get back to the good times when we're really, really looking forward to take time off work and we're absolutely psyched to play the game we all know and love. And when our friends list are packed to the brim for more than just the first day. That's what we want to get back to, everyone included, I'm pretty sure. And we can do this as a community. And the reason I'm so confident about this is I got to see the Bay Class interview. I think that the big shout outs to the Bay Class crew. They did an absolutely smashing job. Taki Cat, Rise, QT, Nguyen, Octavian, and Ziggy. They had hard hitting questions and they really kicked us off very, very well with really, really good broad questions, stuff like about the 10-cent monetization and also stuff about the game in general. And now we carry the flag for the softcore community moving forward. We've got Zizarin coming up next with his questions, which is going to obviously have really, really good takes as well. But then we were after Ziz, and we're going to really, really try and push some of the stuff that we have on our side of the community. So make sure you send that through and make sure that your voice is heard. I'm going to try and do my best to make sure that we get as many questions in as possible, and I'm sure the rest of the team on that interview are also going to do their best as well. And I think I'm reasonably confident if we make sure that we get all the community's issues and we get them in a good list and we get them through to GGG and they have an opportunity to come up with solutions of these and present them to the community, we can actually finally move on from this maelstrom of negativity and be psyched once again about the future of the game. All right, let's move on to some behind the scenes juicy info that I have and why I'm so optimistic. So I have gotten a very, very well, I've had the opportunity to talk to Bex a number of times throughout this league to give feedback and also to ask questions, but also to kind of give feedback on the future of the game as well. I asked her permission in order to talk about this, so it's a-okay, and I feel very excited to be able to share kind of the behind the scenes of some of the stuff that went into the Bay Class podcast. So throughout my time leading up to the podcast, I've been talking with Taki Cat in calls and at length. I've been talking to my community. I've been talking to other creators, and I wanted to make sure that we did get at least a good amount of questions into the podcast and make sure that we were heard initially. And that's why I released my big economy video, and I made sure to get that through to GGG as well. And Bex had a number of questions for me based on that economic video. She had them obviously from the team, from herself, it seems, and I was happy to answer those and give my feedback on that stuff. She had questions, about delirium, accessibility, and all sorts of stuff like that. Not just high-end questions, but also on the lower end. And she informed me that a lot of that feedback and a lot of discussions with Taki and the Bay Class crew and all sorts of stuff like that actually fed its way into discussions with the team. And the team ended up staying back one night to discuss some of the solutions they might have for some of the questions we had for them for the Bay Class interview. And what that light night discussion from the team actually ended up being was the stuff you heard on the Bay Class interview regarding endgame aspirational content. When they were talking about the ideas and the potential things they could implement, like additional simulacrum waves, Uber Blight, Uber 5 waves, and all sorts of stuff like that, that was directly from our feedback to GGG. Big props to the Bay Class crew for pushing that through and helping me out. But I think overall, we were able to channel our community and make sure that our voice was heard, and it was directly, kind of pushed through to the team. They were able to assess what we wanted from the game, and they were able to come back with some ideas, and now we feel a lot more optimistic, about that part of the game. And the mission now needs to be to come up with a number of other issues like that and get that through to the team so they can then come up with a solution for that also. also and get that back to us. Essentially, I believe the strategy for moving forward with the game, making sure it gets to a good place, and making sure we all get back to the good times is really hyper-focusing on coming up with fantastic questions and framing them in a way in which the Grinding Your Games team understands exactly what the problem is, and they're able to come up with a solution and then communicate that back to us in their new community strategy here, which is these podcasts. So that's basically the purpose of this video. I wanted to really reinforce the fact that GGG absolutely is listening. They're asking questions constantly. It might not be on Reddit, it might not be on a manifesto, but they're trying to seek feedback. And in a lot of ways, I think that they're getting it. I see my role now as a conduit for everyone else to kind of move their feedback through. So please, I urge you to send me some of your feedback on the game. I know if everyone really truly does love it as much as we all think, definitely take the time to send that through. Make sure it's like structured a little bit, and then I can get it into a format in which we can actually pose it as a question to Chris Wilson himself. So that's really going to be the video, guys. Overall, I'm incredibly optimistic. This is a company that clearly cares about their game and their player base. They want the game to be good. They went a little bit off track here for a while in 3.14 and 3.15, but it's clear they have competent developers. They really want the game to succeed. They're willing to work after hours in order to get us a little bit of extra information and make us feel a bit better. And I really want to get back to where everything was really exciting again and where we're all really passionate again. And I'm pretty much willing to work myself to the burn before the podcast to make sure everyone is heard. So definitely reach out if you want to reach out. Definitely give me your feedback. And until next time, cheers.